And welcome to That Girl Speaks. Today is Tuesday. I have neither idea of the date or the episode number. I think it's 161. It's December something. That's all I got for you. I'm not even gonna pretend that I know more than that. Right? Because I'm being honest with you, right? I'm honestly failing. Hello, I'm Amy Beth, also known as the Fat Squirrel on Ravelry, and the Fat Squirrel SQRRL on Instagram. Sorry. I'm trying to do this podcast in between other activities, so I apologize if it feels a little bit like caca, but it's the holiday season, yo! Actually, my holiday season is generally very chill. It's just that, like, my husband is home a lot. Love and family and stuff. So I'm trying to wiggle this in between, like, he's out to, like, the metal fabricators doing Lord knows what. I'm not even asking. He told me about 17 times. Not sure. It's to do with a giant steel plate, which he is somehow going to attach to the inside of his work van. Okay, you don't need to know about that, because I don't even know about that. Sorry. Moving on. So I'm trying to fit this in between. So, let's talk about stuff. This episode will have knitting and spinning-ish. And it will also have wonky Christmas ornament special. I know a lot of, well, not a lot of you, a few of you have asked for board game reviews for the holiday season buying. I have to be honest with you. We have not fallen in love with anything other than things we've already shown you. My daughter is highly entrenched in Minecraft love right now. I've debated long and hard whether to fight this raging torrent or just let it wash over our family. At this point, we're in the washing over phase. You know, there might be a change later on. So right now, there's not been a lot of board game activity. So I don't really have anything new to talk about that would be of interest. So I apologize for my lack of information in that arena. I don't really want to play more board games. I totally even bought a fall puzzle. Did I put it together? No. I'm in this really I feel like this crazy woman trying to force people into family love. I just need to back away. Do stuff with me! Really? Because I got a million other things I totally enjoy doing. So it's not even like it's just for me. It's not like I'm like, I'm bored, entertain me. No, it's not it. Bond, people, bond! Whatever. I got lotions to make. Totally making whipped body butter today. I'm very excited. I'm a little nervous. Have you ever done that? I've never done it. I'm so excited though. I love body butters because my skin gets so dry in the winter. But I'm sorry, I'm more out of breath than my fat self even normally is. I have a very small nose, if you can't tell this, in proportion to my body. So I'm a total mouth breather. You know that if you've watched this show before, but sometimes I feel like I need to not necessarily apologize. This has nothing to do with me being fat. I have I have a minuscule nose. It is not useful in oxygenating my body. Anywho, but I'm also fat, so that adds to it. So anyway, so I really love body butters for the lotioning of my skins and whatnots. However, last year I bought from the Body Shop, the Crunchy Body Shop, right? Which I totally thought was all natural. Not at all. They don't test on animals. I guess I don't know if they were all natural at one point and they just got bought out by Monsanto or something. That is not really what happened. I'm making that up. I do that a lot too. So don't ever trust anything I say. What was I going to say? Oh, but I looked at the label of for one thing, when I got it, I didn't realize it was perfumed. It's not even the cocoa butter smell of joy. It's got a perfumey smell. So I was like, wait, what? So I read the label. Totally glyceroldifieds, all this stuff. I'm not a huge, we don't strictly adhere to the all natural body products. In fact, for the longest time I was really like, psh. But lately I don't know why. Lately I've been like, yes, let's use shampoo bars. I don't know what's going on, whatever. But I mean, right, if you don't have to use the chemicals, why not use them? So anyway, that's the long part of me saying, I'm about to make my own body butter. So I hope that goes well. I'm a little nervous. It looks pretty easy. I don't think I can mess it up too bad. But wouldn't that be fun if it worked? Oh, mason jars full of body butter. Oh, I'm so excited. Anyway, so I mean, I have lots of stuff I want to do. I'm not forcing you into bonding just to entertain me. No. Anyway, okay, I'm going to touch my hair a lot and mess things up. So anyway, I guess I should talk about some stuff that is slightly organized that I intend to talk about. Anyway, I don't have it to show you because I just started it on the bottom. I'm spinning this super awesome Falkland. Look how fun this color. I don't know why this seems like it's Christmassy-ish to me. I guess because it has a slight bit of green and snowiness and then bauble colors, maybe. Maybe that's what it is in my head. But it's spun right round Falkland, and this is her Color Play 138, so it's not a repeatable colorway. But I highly recommend Spun Right Round. Everything I've ever spun from her has been highly enjoyable. And this has been in the stash for about a year. I'm having no issues with it being compacted or anything like that. Anywho, somebody's like, what are they doing? Somebody's doing something crazy outside. Oh, whatever. So I am working on, oh, but so that is also to say that I have finished, dun dun dun, I have finished my 20 ounces of CVM Rommeldale. 20 ounces, y'all. I'm glad it takes a lot of yarn for me to make a sweater. Then I not even make a long sleeve sweater for me, I'll be honest with you. Because it's a three ply. It's all plied, but I have not skeined it off and washed it yet. So that's why you're not seeing it, and that's why I'm not shoving it in your face because I'm excited about finishing it. But it's a little bit thicker than I wanted it to be. Of course it is. I should just know that if I'm trying to spin for a worsted, I'm going to get an Aran Plus. I should just assume that's what's going to happen. But anyway, so I finished that. It's very exciting. Okay, so then other things I have not finished. I have no finished objects to show you, right? I have been working on my doodler, but I'm still in Clue 3, yo. It's over and done with. I'm still working on Clue 3. Whatever. So I'd say spoilers, but we're already way behind that. So here's, I know, right? Isn't this a beautiful work of art? You can't tell what it is. This is my doodler, which is the Stephen West Mystery Cow from 2015. It's just wrapped up. So, can you see any of it? Well, this is the part you haven't seen. You haven't seen my big fat cable. Ooh. And you haven't seen this part, which will be some wet. It's really just to show you the colors. And then I have been working on something besides looking at shea butter recipes, body butter recipes. Anyway. So I'm very pleased with it so far. It's hard to see what's going on or anything like that. But again, I am on Clue 3 of 4. So slow. But this is the yellow yarn and the gray are from Coop Knits Sakya, her new yarn, which she sent me, which is awesome. It's a fine fingering weight, but it is lovely to work with. And the gray is they're all slightly, we don't call that marled because that really seems to, but they're like heathered. That's the word I'm looking for. They're heathered. So the gray especially has a lot of like lovely periwinkle and bluish bits in it, but it reads pretty much as gray from a distance. So that colorway is Iolite. And then the yellow colorway is Sphene. And then I originally had a Madeline Tosh Merino Light in a teal for the third color. But when I saw the spoilers, because of course I looked if I was behind anyway, come on. And anyway, I couldn't be on Instagram and not see them. But it was a much brighter teal than this. And also the TML is a little bit thicker than the Saxia by Rachel Kupe. So I decided that I would switch over to some Lion Brand, which I had in Stash, which is their sock yarn. And this is, I don't know what colorway this is. Snow Cone? It's a little bit, it's not, it's actually even like less excitingly bright. No, not exciting, but you know what I mean. It's less bright than you're seeing. But anyway, it seemed to match tone-wise, the yellow and gray, a little bit better than the poppy or blue. And especially since it was I think the other one would have worked well if it had been like a stripe. But since it's a big hunk of that color, I thought I would like this better. So I felt kind of bad because I really did ultimately feel like I was kind of walking away from the Stephen West path. I thought I was being good by getting a color that wasn't exactly matchy, but then I fell off said path. Whatever. Oh, that reminds me that I am wearing, is it Martina Bem? It's the Neon Beast, and this is Tosh Merino. No. This is Madeline Tosh sock. No. Twist. It's the sock yarn that has nylon in it. So it's Twist. And this is, I don't know, the purple is, what are they, Geode. The gray is Kitten. The yellow is something. I don't know. Wheat? I'm making that up. Don't listen to me. But anyway, so that's the neighborhood of those colors. The next thing I have is I cast on a Christmas sock for me. How cute is that? And I think I'm going to do the, Just Run It, the Megan Williams. I always hesitate on that last name. I'm going to do her Spacious OMG heel, I think. And this is from Mustache, which I got this at SSK this year. This is her perfect sock, and this is her OCD. So you get two skeins that are the same. I wound them opposite of one another. So this one I started from the inside of the ball, so this one I'll start from the outside. Or whatever, it doesn't matter. But you can do what you want to do. But so they're perfectly matched skeins so that you don't have to try to find the beginning of the next colorway, which would not be hard on this particular colorway, but some of her colors are like 22, 26, I don't know, 75 stripes. So it can be kind of challenging. And also if you're doing toe up to try to get as much sock for your dollar, that's a good thing too, because we're already, you know, to keep weighing. So there's that. And then the last thing I will show you, Mom, if you're watching, close your eyes. Now, please. Okay. Keep them closed until I tell you not to, or until I start talking about something else, because I've forgotten to tell you to open them. Sorry. I got things to do here. So the next thing I'm working on is my Tender sweater. It's not for me, obviously. It's for my mama for Christmas. And it is with, oops, I better put that back. It is knit out of Blue Moon Fiber Arts Targhee worsted in the, Olive is like eating Tova's glove over there, so I'm trying to like kind of keep an eye on that. A hazy shade of blue. And you get 616 yards in 1 ounce, in one skein, which I believe is 8.8 ounces. So they're big old dudes, right? So the Tender is by Jared Flood, and I have knit this pattern before. It's a raglan bottom up. It is knit, and the pattern is written for it to be knit in pieces and then seamed. I kind of started with that and then decided against it. Whatever. So I am knitting, you can see that there's like, oh, she started that as separate pieces and then decided as soon as you get on with that 4.5 inches of ribbing or whatever that she was going to knit it all once. So I'm almost to the armhole. I have 1.5 inches beyond this green marker to the armhole. So it's a long kind of hip length sweater. And my mama is tall like me, smaller than me, but tall like me. It for ladies. And then I have a sleeve, which is almost, I think I have another, what, 2-3 inches for the sleeve? I can't remember. But the sleeve is actually written, it's reverse stockinette when you seam it together. But I am knitting it in the round. Again, it's written flat, but I'm knitting it in the round just to make life faster because, oh my gosh, there's almost Christmas. I still have an entire project for my memo that I have not cast on yet. Anyway. So there's that. So I have one more sleeve and then the whole yoke and then button bands and an entire other large project to finish in 2 weeks and 2 days. My family are lovely. If I hand them something that has needles in it still, they won't disown me. Especially when I prepare them for that fact. So I think I can get Mom's done. I don't know about Mama's. But Mama won't care. She'll be like, she'll be just as excited if it has needles in it. So, there's all of that. Now, for wonky Christmas ornament segments. It's actually a wonky ornament. They are ornaments. You can use them for Christmas trees, or rearview mirrors, or hanging about for decorativeness. But we use them for the Christmas tree. So anyway, so since I didn't have a good kid game segment, I'll show you all of the crazy things that we have made within the last, well, these aren't all the crazy things we made, quite frankly. But there are some of them. They're the ones that didn't come from like kits. So like for the first few years, we did like a kit one every year. But so these are ones that are just from scratch. Like there's nothing pre-assembled. You can get these things anywhere. Okay. So if you have a little person and you have one of those spool knitters or like an I-cord, I mean, your little knitter could also, or your little person could also know how to knit, but mine is not interested. But she does sometimes enjoy that spool knitting stuff. So what do you do with that like 7 feet of I-cord that they make, or 3 inches, whatever their attention span might be? So these are little I-cord. We made this little wreath. You could put a pipe cleaner in there to firm it up, but we just left it as it was. So all I did was she made the I-cord, and then I didn't really even Kitchener it. I just whip stitched it together. And then we just put a little bow on there, tied it right in. And then this one, we also used a length of I-cord. And then we just zigzag, like we laid it on the table in the tree form. And then this is just a pipe cleaner that we kind of jammed up through there. And then it just, we don't think we glued it or anything. Maybe we did. It feels really like we stuck it on there. No, it's not glued or anything. It's just held on there by the texture of the, that mitten may not make it. It's held on by the texture. Actually, Olive does it. She loves to play with socks and stuff. We try to keep her from doing it. But she's a ninja, quite frankly. She never seems to damage anything. She just likes to throw them in the air. Anyway, it's just held on there by the texture of the pipe cleaner. And then this is just, I don't even really know what happened up here. I'm guessing that I just was like, and just crocheted a circle or something with the red because I needed somewhere to tie the hanger from and glued. I sewed it on there. But so that's the part I did. She made the cord and she put the thing through it. And I think we made these, let's see, she's 8, turning 9 this Christmas. I think we made these when she was like 5 or something, if I'm not mistaken. And then also, those like the paper plate weaving. So she likes to do those, but only, well, again, she was like 4 when she made this, I think. No, I think she was in school. She may have been 5 or 6. Anyway, so we did paper plate weaving and just, she lost interest quickly. So we just took it off and made a little hanging ornament with it. Because like you see the little God's eye ones all the time. But so anyway, so this is just a little thing. But again, what are you going to do that? You don't want to throw it away. Because you're like, oh, they made that. I mean, I'm not that lady. I throw stuff away all the time. But, every once in a while I want to keep like a memory and stuff. And this is fun because then every year when we put the tree up, it's like, oh, do you remember when you totally made that? She's like, yeah, I totally remember. Even though she probably doesn't. But whatever. And then even further back in the Wayback Machine. This is so awesome. Awesome, I have to get up and show you. This is, oh, come on, focus on it. It's crazy, focus on it. There you go. This we made, again, when she was, I think this might have been before she went to school. It had to have been. We used that weird clay that Crayola makes, and other brands make it now too. But it's very lightweight and it air dries. It's a Model Magic. So we took Model Magic and she just, I think actually I did this shape because I can tell my intense artistic ability. But it's like she, even as a little person, she was able to make like a duck and stuff because we have a really awesome duck that's on the tree. And she also just made like, sometimes we just, some of them we just rolled out like a thin layer, and then she used a cookie cutter to make like a tree or, you know, whatever. But so we did also do those, some that were 3-dimensional because we were fancy like that. And so then we just used, it was the messiest project. But the Model Magic is very tidy. It's awesome to work with for little people. But then of course we had to dunk this whole thing in glue. And so we used some iridescent glitter. Because what snail is not iridescently glittery? And then of course, like Sequin Pack 5000. Ridiculous, but these actually look really fun on the tree because these little ghetto sequins just shine and sparkle. So those are fun. And then I think last year we made these little guys. So she just took regular wool felt and traced it with the cookie cutter and then cut out the shapes. So we have like, these are like some fun woodland creatures, cookie cutters we got from IKEA, and a plain old tree. So she just traced them and then cut them out. And then I think for the circles, I'm pretty confident we used a hole punch because they look a little bit too perfect and yet slightly wonky from where we had to like tear them off the sheet. So we just use a hole punch for the little bobbles and just like the craft glue to glue everything together. And then this year, we haven't actually made our ornaments yet for this year. I don't know what they will be. Actually, I do know what I plan for them to be. But I have to share my excitement. You may recall, if you've been watching the show for a little while, that when I went to Rhinebeck, the New York Sheep and Wool, in October, I bought a few kits. Well, I've been really crazy busy, but this is my month of exploration. Hence the body butter that I'm about to make. So I got from Going Gnome, I got a mini gnome kit. And I totally made it. I was so afraid, people. Oh, that's not a clean piece of paper. Family. So I was really afraid. I was very afraid that I would not be able to do this because I'm not, as you can see by my awesome snail, I am not a sculptor. And so this is needle felted. So it is kind of like sculpting with wool, but it is fun. Again, I am not an artistic person at all. I knit because I enjoy a pattern. Like, I enjoy directions. Hence why I enjoy board games. Like, on those tests, I'm equal left mind and right mind, but... But I totally made him! Ah! So this kit, again, is by Going Gnome, and the kit makes 6 of this little guy. Now, her guys were much smaller. I'm assuming because she's more talented and needle felted them more densely than I did. But mine are not going to kids. He's hanging out in my tree. I can't decide if I'm going to put a string through his hat and hang him, or if I'm going to put him on a clothespin and just clip him on. I can't decide. But I am very excited. Or if I'm just going to sit him in the tree. Because he is a gnome. He should be able to wander. After we go to bed. Angus. I don't know what his name is yet. But anyway, I'm very proud of myself. And I'm very proud of everybody who can do this. Because, okay, if you're on Instagram or you just on Etsy or whatever and you search under needle felting, there are some amazing needle felted things. I will not deny that I will not deny that I have fallen down that rabbit hole at least 4 times since last time we talked. There are amazing things, but even like normal people can make cute stuff, right? I'm never going to be able to make like the super inventive, well, I shouldn't say actually, no, I would never. It's less likely that I will be able to invent the super inventive, like artistic-y stuff, the very naturalistic animals, which are so cool. But I'm going to try, quite frankly. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm going to try. But this is a very approachable thing to do, especially if you are a wool worker. Like if you spin and you're familiar with wools and you happen to have a stash of wools and all that stuff. But again, this kit is $24 and it should make 6 of these guys. So that's a very affordable project, right? And then you have to buy like your needles. No, it comes with 2 needles. You have to buy a felting surface. So you have to have like some sort of foam, or if you have burlap, you can make like a little square bag and put some rice in it or something, but you have something to felt on that you won't felt into. But I'm very proud of him. He's very cute. Eek. So, oh, and then there's one more. I forgot about this one. This one is also from this year. I actually have no knitted ornaments. Yeah, that is a fact, Jack. I have no knitted ornaments. I'm not a huge plushie knitter. I think they're awesome and super cute, but I don't enjoy the process of knitting them because you have to knit them at a very tight gauge, which is very foreign to how I normally knit, and I just don't care for it. But again, this was very time consuming, but it was a totally different craft, and so it didn't feel like it took very long. I say very time consuming. I made it in an evening. It's not like, you know. What was I saying? Oh, so I really don't knit ornaments. We have a lot of crazy other ornaments. But so this is another solution to not wanting to knit ornaments. This is just a little paper, or just a little birch round, I think. And you can get them, I got these on Etsy. So it's just a little round of birch. And then you can just use your hand. I love to use the power tool. So you can use a drill and just drill a hole through it to make a hanger. And then these are just small finishing nails. And you can get them colored. You can see one of them, I tried to paint with fingernail polish to see if I liked it, but I didn't really care for that. So you can do whatever you want. You paint them, leave them silver. I think they make brass ones too, if that's more your bag. But you can either draw out the shape or just whatever it, and then you just do string art with some scrap yarn. Right. Because you got plenty of that. Okay, good. But isn't that fun? And these are very quick to make, actually. I mean, it takes a while to put all the nails in, but it's fun to get to hammer stuff, right? And so then you just wrap, and you can do whatever. You can do stockings. You can do I don't know if I'm sure you could do a snowflake. I don't know if I would know, but a star would be good. But anyway, so yay. So this is just fingering weight yarn. I did some with DK. That's about as big as you want to go. Once you get into worsted, it doesn't, well, it's not true. It would just look different. You would have less coverage and just chunkier. But anyway, isn't that fun? Haha! So that's wonky yarn, so wonky ornament segment. So those are all things that you could do. I mean, the hammering, even Tova helped me with those because, again, she's my kid and she does enjoy hammering some stuff. The needle felting, my plan is this year to do, you can do needle felting with just a cookie cutter and some wool felt, so without it being a 3-dimensional thing. And I got some, they make like a silicone-y kind of, or late, I don't know what it is, but some sort of finger guard to help protect your fingers too. So I'm gonna see if she would like to do that, because those are very cute. You can do well, again, anything you have a cookie cutter for, you just pack the wool in there, and then you can just use your felting needles, or you can get one of those tools. You need the individual needles for like the corners and edges and stuff, but you can use the bigger set of like 3 needles or whatever it is to do the middle bits. So that's my plan for this year's. It's okay, go that way. I'm literally almost done. That's my that was good timing, right? So anyway, I think that's all for this week, and I'll talk next time.